Hey everyone, it's Nicu. I'm a software engineer based out of Chisinau, Moldova, and welcome to another episode of Awwwards Remake, where I teach you how to create different parts from websites from Awwwards website. In today's episode, we have this great effect called Skew Distortion. I found it on the Awwwards website in the collection section. And if we go to the source page, we will and go to the sign up, or actually not to the sign up, to the let's go back to the main homepage. We go to the music. Cool. We'll see, and if we scroll down, we'll see two columns basically, and depending on the direction we scroll, we see the elements from the column Skew. In our example, and this is what we will do by the end of this video, we have three columns, and we will skew them, but what I added is to have the middle column go to the opposite direction of the scroll. So yeah, and this is the effect we're gonna do by the end of this video. I've got here 15 images, right? And each of the images in this array or photos, it will have an URL and a description. So in our home component, where you want to have it, we'll create here a new element called let's see, class name grid wrap, and here we will have three more elements. One for left, one for middle, and one for the right column. So div, let's give it a name of left column and duplicate it 2 times, middle and right column. Next we'll need to get the photos and split them into chunks, so 5 sparse chunks. So const left chunk. I'll just use the splice method from the array. Let's see, photos, splice, and we know that we have 15. You can do your own algorithm. We just need equal length chunked arrays. So middle chunk is photos, splice, and we know there is a 5 to 5, 5 and 5 elements, and const right chunk is photos, splice, 10 to 5. And here for each of the column, we'll want to iterate through correspondent chunk, left chunk dot map. We have here a destructor. More further, we'll return something, a component. So here we get the URL, the description, and we'll need the index as well. And next we'll need to create a new we'll create a new component here. So grid item text, and it's a functional component, and let's see, it receives the URL, the description, and it returns class name to be a grid item. Here we have the image with the source to be the URL, and a class name to be grid item media. And after this, below we have a paragraph for the description. Yeah, we'll come back later for the style, but now we need to import here grid item and we'll pass the URL and the description to the component. And we gotta do this for the rest of the columns. So we can copy this, and of course we need to pass the key here, since this is an element from the array for React to know which one to pre-render on the next update. We copy left chunk and we just let's see, change to middle chunk. We come to the right column. Nope, let's copy, paste, and change to right chunk. So we now have the 3 columns. Let's save, and going back to the page, we see our images being displayed. Let's create some styles. So going to the CSS home, we have here the grid wrap. We want them to be a grid, so, and inside of it we have 3 columns. I repeat, 3, and each of them will have 20% of the width with a 5% gap. We'll justify the content to be centered and the margin 0 to auto to center it horizontally. Yeah, yeah, we kind of have here 3 columns. We need to style each grid item style.css, and here we have the grid item, which is, and inside of it we have the image. We set it to be a width of 100%, an object fit cover, and this amazing new CSS property called aspect ratio. We set it to 1. Let's refresh, and we forgot to import it in the component. So grid CSS, let's refresh now, and as you can see, we kind of have we have just 2 blocks. Where is the middle block? Middle, right? I think it's because the photo, the splice is mutable. Photos, brush, yeah. So we kind of have 3 blocks. We need to do minor changes. For the paragraph, we have the margin top of around 15 pixels, the font size to be 24 pixels, the text transform uppercase, and the text align to be the right, and for the each grid item will have a margin bottom of about 20 pixels. Yeah, cool. I wanna do to change the background to have the one in the demo. So the let's see, background color, it's an yellowish, so FC E733. Yeah, amazing. Now we left to do is to hook up Locomotive scroll and compute the transform of each column. So for this, we'll need to go back to our home component and create couple of references. So const ref use ref null, and we'll need for each of the column new reference. So const, let's better duplicate 3 more times, left column ref, middle column ref, and right column ref. And we will assign all of these to the corresponding DOM element. So for the ref, we'll assign to the main component container, so ref. The left reference will assign it to the left column ref. We'll go to the middle ref, middle column ref, and we'll set the right column as well, right column ref. And we need to import the locomotive scroll, so import locomotive scroll from locomotive scroll, and we need to initiate the locomotive scroll. So in an use effect, let's import use effect. Let's see, we need it initially on the mount, and let's create the const scroll element, new locomotive scroll, an object. Here we have the element, which is the ref current. We need to set the data scroll container to the main container, so data scroll container here for locomotive scroll to know which is the parent container. We'll set this move to true. We want it to work on the mobiles, so we'll do them responsive, smart phone move true. We'd want get the direction for the scroll, so get direction true, and the speed of how much we scroll. Now let's remove the cleanup and this return as well, port and the style. So locomotive scroll source and the locomotive scroll.scss. Yeah, you see it, we have, it doesn't work. Yeah, because of the images. And to fix this, we will need to update the scroll element, so the locomotive scroll will know the height of the loaded images in the DOM. And for this we will use, let's see, package JSON. We'll use the images loaded package. So loaded, no, yeah, actually. Well, what is doing is it uses a promise, and it will return when the image is loaded on the web page. We'll use the images load. For this, we'll create a small function. So here, const preload images is an arrow function, and we will return a new promise. Right here we have images loaded. We'll import it, and let's import images loaded here. Import loaded from images loaded. Yeah, and we will pass the CSS select the DOM selector selector, and here it has three parameters. One is to get the element, the DOM element, so query selector all, and the selector. Here it needs a background, and the callback, so the resolve. And resolve is passed from the promise. And in our use effect, we will promise all. So promise all, an array, reload images, and we know that the images have this class grid item media, so we can pass this selector item media, and when all of them will be loaded, we'll have here a callback, and we will scroll element update, and this would work. Let's refresh. Then it's not a function. Oh, let's see. It's because like this. Yeah, like this. Yeah. So now we have the locomotive scroll updated when all of the images will be loaded on the page. Cool, amazing. All what is left is to listen to the scroll event from the locomotive scroll and do some things around. So scroll element on, and we have the scroll event. To get what we want, we passed these two parameters to the locomotive scroll, so we would have the direction, and otherwise you will not get the parameters in your object. So scroll, and let's see what we have here. We'll need to create a new reference to keep up the previous scroll, or let's say the cache, and the current scroll position. So for this, to avoid updating the state and update or re-rendering the component, we'll use a reference, because the reference doesn't make the component to update. So const scroll, let's call it, which is a use ref, and inside we'll have a cache with 0. So we suppose that the initial scroll is 0, user doesn't do anything, and the current as well is 0. Let's save, and here we will say that the scroll current and current is equal to the object scroll and the y position of it, and we'll need to compute the distance from the current to the previous scroll. So scroll current is minus scroll current cache, and then we'll need to update the cache with the current scroll. So scroll current cache is equal to scroll current. So we have this distance, and this distance will object scroll, yeah. Let's save, and this distance will give us the amount the users scrolled. So we will set the transform of the left column ref current style transform be q y, and here we have let's see the distance, right? And if we save, we scroll, we don't see anything. Oh, is because we need the degrees. Yeah, so we have here. The only thing I would like to change is to clamp the value. So if we really scroll fast, we see that these images will skew really bad, and maybe this is what you want, but I will want to skew the value. So let's console log the distance and see what we get from it. So console log, and here we see some values, right? So it's positive, it's negative, it's positive, it's negative. It's depending on the direction of your scroll. To clamp the value, we write a small function, so const clamp, and this it's an arrow function, right? And this will get 3 parameters, so the value, the minimum, and the maximum. So we clamp the value between two values. So we return if value is smaller or equal to min, then we return minimum. Otherwise, if value is bigger or equal to maximum, we return maximum, or else we return the value. We have this spaghetti Turner operator, but again, you can refactor it if you want. So instead here of the distance, we have the clamp, and then we would let's see, pass the distance, and we want it to be clamped between -10 and 10. If we refresh, we see that no matter how much we scroll, it will now go past the -10 and 10 value. And we need to do this 3 more times. 1, 2, 1, 2, oops, 1, 2, 3, and let's change it to left column, middle column, and right column. And if we refresh, we see that all of our images now will skew. But what we want is to have the middle column skewed differently. So we will instead of the distance, we will negate it. So when we scroll down, it will get positive and it will skew into the different direction. Yeah, see here a small change. So we have this effect. The next thing we want to do is to have the middle column scroll to the opposite direction. And with the locomotive scroll, is super easy to do. We find the middle column, we say to it that, look, this is a data scroll, and we assign the data scroll speed to something negative. So let's see a -5. By refreshing, still not working. Let's improve to -20. Oh, because we, yeah, it's not working because we we override the transform of the element. So we need to here to create another div. We would pass this reference to this. Let's refresh. Yeah, so now we have 3 columns going into opposite directions. Why it didn't work? It was because let's look to the middle column. We make it bigger. So the locomotive scroll passes a inline style transform, and we overrode with our transform from the use effect. This is basically it to replicate this effect. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Share it with on Twitter. And I'm waiting for your comments in the bottom section below the video. And see you guys to the next one. Peace.